Continue, Mr. Wittman.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to thank our witnesses for joining us today. Secretary Kent, I'd like to begin with you. The U.S. Air Force base budget and then the UCOM unfunded requirements list both call for additional counter small UAS capability at U.S. Air Force installations. As I see things unfolding, we see counter small UAS and really loitering munitions not having much distinction. They are becoming the same thing. We saw recently a very disturbing trend at Langley Air Force Base where, because of a large number of UASs that were in that airspace, Langley had to close down just to make sure that we were able to defend the operations that were going on there. As I watch how missions are developing, you see the Army Missile Defense Mission, you see the Air Force Air Base Air Defense Mission, and it looks like to me that there's a lot of commonalities there. Can you give me an idea about how do you look at those different requirements and who's responsible for what mission? Are there clear lines of distinction there? And do you think that based upon where we are today, are our Air Force bases adequately protected?
We have a wide range of threats to our air bases. They vary by theater quite a bit. Different in the Middle East or in Europe or in the Pacific. In the Pacific in particular, what China's been acquiring is a variety of missiles, precision missiles, ballistic and cruise and hypersonic, designed to attack our air bases. And that's the threat that really drives us more than anything else right now. In the Middle East and to some extent in Europe, we're faced with small UAVs more. We have to deal with all of these. The way the department is approaching this is that the Army is generally the lead for research and development on small UAV problem, and we're participating in that. We contribute to that and are full-fledged members. And we are funding some improvements to our air bases for security of that. I was just at several of our Middle East air bases where we have systems deployed today because of that threat. As you go up the chain a little bit in the threat and start worrying about cruise and ballistic missiles, then systems like Patriot come into play. What we need, and there's a large study that's been going on for well over a year now, led by the Army that we're participating in, to try to come to an optimal solution for air-based defense against a whole range of threats. What we need in particular is a highly cost-effective way to engage those cruise and ballistic missiles and those hypersonics. Yeah. And there's some promising technologies in development which we think have potential to do that. We will have to make some decisions in the department about force structure and what our priorities are to acquire those. But I think it's an important part of air-based resilience that we have to address. Our whole concept of operation in the Pacific is called agile combat employment, which assumes that we don't stay on a single base to absorb missile attacks. We move around to different bases and make it harder for the other guy. But you still need defenses, and you need defenses that can be where you're going to be to be effective. All our wargaming says that's a necessity. Yeah. So we're not where we need to be yet, but we're on the path hopefully to get there.
That'd be great. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.